being picked up by 957 makes the trades a lot more favorable to him. I wonder if that means that Kandi's going to be looking for that top lane gank rather early. We know that Cho'Gath has had he's been very susceptible to ganks, very weak in the sense that he naturally shoves out when he tries to trade.
Ooh, well, Coco gets a ward to spot Kandi, so perhaps Newbie are aware that this could happen. And finally, Swift is making his way over towards that side of the map, so it seems like Newbie might be prepared.
Yeah, that's not even going to be available for Kandi to look towards that top side of the map. That was great from Coco to basically put down that ward on the second wave as well, so he's able to get level 2 in doing so. So it was a strong pick-off just to engage where Kandi is, especially since this laning phase is going to be incredibly easy for him.
And can I just say that I love the mind games that WE played in game number 1, invading into the Raptors of Newbie to be like, hey, we're putting on a lot of pressure, and then game 2, they completely pull back, and you can see Newbie are forced to give a leash to Swift just in case there were to be any pressure on his other side.
That's because, you know, WE can do both. You know?
Yeah, get yourself a team that can do both.
Exactly. Like last game, incredibly early game. This time around, they're going for that late scaling towards Xia and Mystic at the cost of their lanes, recognizing that their lanes are not necessarily going to have that pressure. So if that's going to be the case, Kandi getting out on the map much faster is going to be much more valuable.
And already you can see the impact that's having. Look at all of the wards on that top half of the map to keep 957 safe, to allow him to continue shoving into Sky and attempt to break open a CS advantage. That does mean, though, that Swift will get a chance to clear out the bottom just a little bit as he looks for his first recall. Take a look who's headed on down there. Kandi. He'll just head on over to Krugs instead.
Yeah, it's going to be a farm out for both these junglers to basically get these Krugs in their favor. Don't want to fall in experience, especially since they recognize these lanes are pretty hard to gank. So even for Sejuani, where you think, oh, you know, bottom lane's doing pretty well for themselves, mid lane as well, just hard to gank for a Lucian, especially for Vladimir, who's pinged level 4. Top lane is a possibility. It's just hard to also gank for Shen. So you find these difficulties, so it's easy for them to say, just back up and say, well, I'll pick up experience so I can get to level 6 much faster.
And the Krugs are now being invaded by Swift, but they've already been cleared out by Kandi. So slightly superior pathing. Might try to catch the Raptors on respawn. Already you can see Xia is hanging out next to his turret. Tries to get some health onto the cannon minion.
Yeah, this is when the pressure starts to really pile onto WE. 2 wards being placed down by Swift, control ward behind the red buff, and also a ward right next by the Raptor camp. Thankfully, WE catch Swift looking bot, but he can make those attempts time and time again with how much control he has on that side of the map, with how much damage Xie is taking here.
Yeah, Coco affecting this lane quite heavily. You mentioned that it would be an advantage, and he's been keeping up in CS just fine for now. And will get the chance to heal up as he did take Flash and Ghost in that lane.
Okay.
And Mystic leapt into a Dark Binding and then the minion wave.
He tried.
He did. I'm not so sure that trying was the correct idea, maybe?
Sometimes don't try.
Okay. We'll just take that home, Raz.
There we go.
Famous quotes by Barento Raz Mohammed. Sometimes don't try.
I have a few of them.
Okay. Again, the recall completed from Xie. He was able to keep himself in lane for quite some time, finally making his way back with Ninja Tab. He shouldn't miss too many minions here, as Swift once again looking to affect bottom.
He's in a good position. Chris will probably end up walking up so he can get a Dark Binding at the same time.
Yeah, there are no wards from Ben or Mystic. They don't even have a trinket. Mystic finally gets his, so too does Ben.
Decides against it because it was a cannon wave walking up as well. It would have been taking a little bit more time for LWX. You don't want to walk past that wave as well. So Swift was looking for it. End up decided against it.
There's still plenty of vision on that side of the map for Newbie, but Kandi hasn't been over there just yet. He's got his camps timed almost perfectly as Raptors spawn as he's making his way over there. Swift will hang out on his own side of the jungle. So while he might have wanted to interact with Kandi or perhaps gank some Lions, he doesn't get the choice, as Kandi has just been dictating the pace of the jungling with his own camp clears.
Yeah, here's what's important now is that Sejuani should be able to get 6 off her Krugs. She's very close in doing so, but Kandi's already hit that point. Kandi can already look towards this mid lane and see if he can take down Lucian. Now, Lucian has both Flash, and of course he has Dash because he's Lucian. It's going to be important for Swift to stick by. Oh, in fact, they can bait him in for a blue buff.
Oh, yeah, he's looking for Coco on the side, who's going to walk past this ward. Kandi gets right in between him. An immediate relentless pursuit. drops a ward, just fights for this vision. Take a look at Ben. He's even getting in there with Mobies.
Yeah, Tristana's pushing at the bottom lane, so this blue buff should be in WE's court. Really good pressure coming in from Condi. I don't know if he can take the blue buff now since it reset.
Yeah. Perhaps feigning a dive bottom. Ben shows up. Oh, the submarine flash, but Headbutt is still standing. Ben takes a lot of hits, and there's the Shadow Dash, the cast to knock him in, but a stun locks him down. Huge play from Swift. Here comes Xie, and that Sky teleporting in. The feast for first blood. LWX survives as Mystic can't leap in. And that is Newbie turning WE's play on its head.
It looked easy for WE to try and get on top of LWX because he was alone. Unfortunately, alone not long enough. So Crisp finally gets there, gets the magic shield on top of LWX. Proper stun coming out of Swift, catching Condi mid belly bop. So that was beautiful coming out of both Swift and Crisp to keep LWX alive and to turn the fight.
Massive play from Newbie. We said we wanted to see Swift carry on the Sejuani. Well, that'll get us there. If he doesn't die to Gromp, then it'll be a better argument.
He didn't have Smite, so I don't know why he was trying for it.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, I'll look past it just because of how good that repel was up on that dive.
Now it's 1,400 gold for Newbie in this early game, and suddenly those lanes that were already a bit of a challenge for Xie and the likes of Mystic down on that bottom half have become a bit more challenging, as that's 2 assists onto Kog'Maw, 1 assist onto Coco, and then a kill to accelerate the Morgana towards her Ardent Sensor, and a kill for Sky, who was suffering.
Yeah, so first backs are going to be super impactful. Morgana already getting hers, but Kog'Maw needs his. If you can get to a point where you might end up seeing, if it doesn't happen on this wave, Sejuani will probably head towards that bottom lane just to give him that time. Kog'Maw's really close. Probably is going to first buy a Wit's End, quite honestly. I want to see how close he is to that.
He's been sitting on that gold for quite some time. Wow, that is a straight Wit's End.
Yeah, so I was just wondering if he can first purchase it because of how he has 85 CS, was sitting there for so long already, has 2 assists goal. So perfect for him. He's going to come back to lane. And Morgana, once she's able to accrue enough gold off of her gold per 10, I wonder if she has the rune page, but ultimately, just having the coin is good enough. If she can just rush right into the Ardent Sensor, suddenly it's going to be much harder for Mystic and Ben here.
And look at this, WE sticking to the same plan as last game, but in a completely different scenario. Mystic and Ben swapping top to try for an early shove onto the turret, but they don't have the advantage of first brick bottom. 957 preps by fighting Sky. Swift is on his way, but Ben has been spotted. There's no flash away for Sky as a stun locks him down. No, it does not. He walks back with Ignite burning down. And 957 cannot chase with the Shadow Dash.
It's fun how that ended up going in favor of WE. I mean, they had a good look for the kill, but Sky was saved out by Swift.
And take a look bottom. It's still the quick push from LWX. Teleport from 957 to get in there. Dark Binding ready for Crisp. Ooh, doesn't drop it. Yeah, it's a cannon minion wave. Flash and the chains, as the turret is going to be picked off here. Slowly but surely, Mystic has been pushing on the other side and gets first brick as Newbie hesitate because they wanted the kill.
Yeah, this is it was a good look for 957. He TP'd there just to buy some time. It was interesting since they were already much faster on the top side of the map. In fact, it looks like they're just doubling down on the top lane as well. I want to see if they just want to bounce it.
That's a rupture, but already you can see Tristana getting some work onto that turret, just trying to get some damage. Even Condi's being brought in as the minion wave is being cleared out. Finally, Sky steps in as he's got the support of Swift. And it gets a lot of chip damage, but it's still standing. So it is a turret advantage for WE because they did get the bonus gold from first brick.
And they have the momentum. They have the push for them as well, because Shen has already had the wave at a midway point where he's going to bounce it on top of this turret. And so it gives them the time, quite honestly, to take this Rift Herald. Sure, Nubia are there to see if they can contest, but someone has to go towards the bottom side of the map.
Ooh, knocked up before he can Black Shield. There it is. And the auto attack on top, plus the stand united a cast to lock him in, and Crisp is dead as WE feigned a Rift Herald and turned it into a pick instead.
I mean, WE recognized that they had the ability to be here. There's no reason for Newbie to try and stop them.
And Now they're pushing onto the mid tier 1. You can see Sky is bottom. Culling is going to do a bit of damage, but WWE happily trade their health bars for it. Even Mystic tanks a few shots to keep that minion wave topped up. They shred through the turret. 2 turrets to 1.
And the difference maker was 957. He was going to be able to join the team regardless of how many members were behind Morgana. Thankfully for them, it was just Morgana herself, so she got picked out. But Cho'Gath had to stick to the bottom wave. The bottom wave was coming through. He decided to take it. So the natural play for newbie should have been to back away from the top side entirely. It was just unfortunate that they wanted to push their ward line a little bit much further. They had no ability to do that. They should have just got WE to try to take Rift Heralds, and so they can contest for it. A little bit impatient.
Yeah, and speaking of newbie, pushing onto the map, they're taking this top tier 1 right now. You can see 957 just below it on your mini-map. He gave the single lonely assist ping as WE redistributed to the other half of the map. Perhaps they might be trying to trade back into tempo and look for the bottom tier 1, but the next minion wave is on its way. And it could be a bit of a race if newbie want to try to push in towards that tier 2.
They have the faith that 957 is going to be there to stall it out regardless. So they're just trying to match it even though they're a bit behind on the pace. A lot of bonuses on 957 to see if you can get a taunt onto the Kog'Maw, but even if he does, then Morgana's shield is there. So that's why newbie are just doubling down here.
Ooh, the Dark Binding misses. The wave is going to be cleared out. The next one is just behind it, but his own minion wave is far enough forward to buy enough time for Mystic to trade back. Still, it's newbie trying to get back forward. And the recall from the rest of WE leaving Mystic on his own as they are defending their tier 2 on the other side.
Here comes Vlad, Gragas, Alistar. So rightfully so, newbie are backing away here.
Yeah, they play it nice and safe, instead just looking for the blue steal instead, but even so, it's a bit risky. Condi will show up with Smite, level 8. Ooh, he locks it down, it looks like. LWX has one. Oh, he actually got it with the auto attack.
Yeah, there we go.
I guess that was the other blue that Condi stole. Yeah, the timer's much longer.
Yeah, perfect. So, at the very least, newbie get the blue buff. They couldn't really take the Rift Herald because of how fast WE were and responding to that play. Now my question, of course, is how fast is WE going to be? Oh, actually, you know, they're just going to take it right now.
Immediately?
Yeah. You know what? Okay.
They look for the Rift Herald, don't even care about the Ocean Dragon as Condi and Mystic finish it off. No Infinity Edge finished just yet for Mystic or a Static Shiv, but Proto Belt is ready for Xie. You've got the Cinder Hulk completed on Condi, and the upgraded coin for Ben. So they will be getting a healthy amount of gold, good amount of damage with this item as well. Of course, they do have to contest the Ardent Sensor completion from Crisp, and we already talked about the very early Wit's End.
Mm-hmm. He's already gotten to a point where he has 3 daggers going into the Runan's Hurricane. So at this point in time, newbie are back in the same position they were in Game 1, where they do want to start a fight. It would be much better if they can get Blade of the Rune King onto Lucian as well, but unfortunately he did cut his purchase just to get to the Executioner's column.
Now we can see both teams setting up to siege top right now. Everyone is there except for Xie, and they're immediately turning on to Condi. They know Xie has to walk, and he's heading towards the dragon right now, as 957 with his Stand United heads bottom instead. So perhaps WE were in fact looking for the larger feint. Yes, they had the Rift Herald, but that wasn't their plan.
You're going to take some time down. And let's say, okay, you know what, they're going to bring in 957 just to get it. So
Titanic first, he does some damage.
Yeah, so once again, newbie are back in the position where they want to look for those dives, or at least those fights, I mean. But it's going much harder for them. They can get a pick off to Condi, but who's going to follow that up? They don't have the necessary members if Crisp is using his magic shield, so Swift moves forward. Crisp is not there to put out a binding or his ulti. They don't have any long-range abilities to do that. And Sky, once again, this time around he's on Cho'Gath, which is hard to start a fight if he's not in a flanking position once again.
I mean, we've already seen him trying to look for flanks. He might be baiting here with Swift and Coco. As a ward gets cleared out and they sneak bottom, 957, this guy is like Spider-Man. He knows when these ganks are coming, and he's already backing away. He has no reason to know that they are there outside of Sky clearing a control ward.
Guys, I sense something.
But
something's not right in the air.
My spidey sense is tingling, and he just turns it back. Doesn't even walk towards the brush in lane. Waits for the minions.
These are plays that newbie are making. In fact, Lucian is still there, but with how safe 957 is playing, is Lucian wasting his time. Look how large this wave is. This could have been the time when newbie were trying to bounce onto this wave and try and dive onto it, but they can't get much of it. Catching out.
Yeah, you can see Ben just picking up all those coins. It's the tiny things that you that make you happy as the support. But that means that top is undefended. Mystic shoves a wave forward. He shows himself by stepping on a ward by the Krugs. This does pull the attention of the remaining members of Newbie. Coco finally heads back towards mid. He does have his Executioner's Calling, so he can deny some of this regeneration from Xie.
Yeah. So even though I said that Executioner's Calling was an unfortunate purchase just because for the team fight he wants to get to his Blade of the Ruined King early, it's actually phenomenal in the matchup. So it just allows him to look to trade into Xie. Xie had to ghost in that situation, not only because the matchup was bad, but because there was no way for him to try and contest that, try to heal up anything. So immediately blowing a sum just because he was behind him.
And now 957, the moment he sees Coco in the mid lane, pushes up bottom. Once the wave is pushed, ooh, we're just praising you, 957. Don't do it. He steps forward,
Run!
And Coco now shows himself. Shadow dash, and he's still holding on to his flash. He's actually kiting towards Xie as he just loops around the terrain to get himself safe.
With how much focus Newbie have been putting towards the bottom side of the map, it must have a lot of, I would say, confidence for Mystic to pressure up top side.
Well, Mystic confident of any AD carry right now?
He's a confident man.
He is. Did you see him leap under the tier 2 mid as Condi, ooh, he's catching the rotation as Newbie are busy trying to defend top and looking for a gank bottom. That means mid. It's only Swift defending. A big charge slams into the turret and might actually be enough to finish it off. Ooh, unless they get the crowd control.
Oh, there you
turret
go.
still falls. Mid tier 2 goes down in favor of WE. 4 turrets to 2.
And they feint the fact that they're going to double down on it and move towards the top lane as well. So Condi is here. Mystic has been pushing this way for quite some time. It shouldn't be, he's still not confident enough to walk up to the turret just because of how much CC is available for the Morgana. Also can just flash ulti as well. So reasonably, he's just then to a point where there we go, he's purchased a static Shiv. And he's going to be looking for these team fights. Baron is coming up in a minute, so that could be his focus.
Yeah, we've got 2 items on both of our AD carries right now. Again, that Proto Belt on Xie. Coco, he's looking for the Blade of the Ruined King, but he's been stalled out on the map for so long as he's now going to pick up blue buff. And slowly but surely, again, we're seeing the superior macro play from WE. Just these tiny incremental windows, these single inches and steps that they are breaking the map open with. As Xie,
Unfortunate.
that was a little unlucky there. Will be passed over blue buff, despite not having mana.
This gives him the CDR, which
Yeah.
is nice, and an extra AP as well. So Xie is going to be incredibly happy about that.
But still, yeah, WE, they're running the same plan here. They're just pushing in, trying to keep Newbie locked into their base to their side of the map. And now, Baron's up in 10 seconds. And the closest ward is just behind red buff. And then the 2 very, very deep control wards from Newbie that have been on the left side of the map for ages.
Yeah, and they've had strong control of these adjacent lanes to Baron as well. So with WE being able to push out mid, an extra wave as well because they've had that inner turret down, this pressure that's been being piled up by WE actually gives a lot of onus to Xie. Now Xie has the ability to push up a lane and actually look for constant flanks. This is going to make it a lot harder for Newbie, or at least their backline, to walk up in these supposed fights.
Ooh, Condi gets a dark binding and gets additional damage. Ben looks for an engage just to save his jungler. And both of them take some harass and walk away. And meanwhile, Xie ghosts on cooldown looking for Sky. He's got the Zanyas, but pools underneath the Rupture. Feral Scream will silence him for the entire duration of the Blood Fever.
He's probably upset, recognizing that the Spirit Visage has been purchased from Sky, so that's not a lot of damage going down.
Now that's another Dark Binding to zone Condi away. The minion wave gets in as Mystic tries to find entry, and now Xie flashes in with the Hemoplague. He's looking for LWX and has found so much damage. He made it underneath the bola. I cannot believe Xie did that. He opens up room for Mystic to start Goomba stopping. 1, 2, and he has the 3rd jump, but he's holding on to it. Dodges a binding. That's the 3rd jump. That's the 4th.
Where
he
you
flashes for Coco. It's 5 jumps, a quadra kill for Mystic.
And look how easy it is for Mystic to just get these loops going. And it was all because of Xie getting that first reset. Had Shen on top of him, getting that ulti across. And so he's able to get straight on top of LWX. The moment LWX is down, who do they look to? Who does Newbie look to for damage? Coco? Well, Coco's not going to be doing much.
Yeah.
Especially with Mystic down his throat. So that's looking incredible from WE.
The inhibitor is broken off of the back of it. Baron is still an option as newbies start to respawn, and they make their way back in. But Xie, I mean, this guy has some cojones.
That's so easy, and he has flash as well, so he just gets on top of LWX. Look, he pulls. He's gonna have his Crimson, his Q off, gets the burst onto LWX, and so Coco's the only damage dealer. He's pretty damn low, and the tanks are getting busted up. He thinks he can do something. No, just run. Actually get out of there. Not gonna happen. Flash is over, gets the kill.
Amazing. Quadra kill from Mystic here in game number 2. A masterful performance on this Tristana as he now finds himself 5-0. And now, with WE, they decided to take it safe. They recalled, and newbie immediately rushed towards the Baron. There is no vision in that pit.
Clear these control wards. I dare ya.
But then they step forward and look for vision. In Pixel Brush, Dark Binding threads the needle. Crisp, you gotta land that, man. Condi steps in. He's got his cast ready to split them up. Sky gets pulled away from his team. Spirit Visitor, no. He's taking a lot of damage, and Mystic is still firing. He gets another kill. Ben chases LWX back, and all of these control wards are gonna get cleared.
That's their major tank down. They only have Sejuani if they want to pick a fight. So they're all basing now.
Ben sets up some wards behind the Baron to look for the inevitable rotation as Coco hunts for an assassination. And with super minions streaming in the mid lane, there's a limited amount of time for newbie here.
Yeah, WD should just go on to Baron. Newbie even sending their Kog'Maw to their base just because of the super minions. They don't have a member either. They're going to have a member in 8 seconds, but this is all but lost here.
Yeah, they see LWX. Condi is taking some big damage from this Baron. Swift is spotted by Ben. He has no ultimate, but he has the headbutt. Pins him into the wall, and that's the stun. Ben dies as teleport is used by Sky on respawn. Xie heals himself up just a touch, but the Rupture follows in. Swift doesn't have the ultimate, but he does have a slow. 957 is being left behind. Shadow Dash and Flash again. And WE might have bit off a bit too much.
Yeah, Ben is down with 18 seconds left. Xie and Condi don't have much HP to their name. This is newbie's opportunity for Baron.
Condi steps in, looking for the help. They are running out of wards because they have been on the map for so long, so the only way to get vision into the pit is to walk up past this Kog'Maw, who chunks Condi so low, but Mystic keeps Sky zoned away on the far side, and newbie back away. Super minions on the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, unfortunately for newbie, they have to play to that game of time. Coco's gone. It also gives WE the opportunity to look for Baron themselves. Okay, you know what? That's anger right there.
Looking for a little bit of excitement, Condi is. And now he's going to complete the recall. Still, the super minions are cleared out by Coco, as you mentioned. Ben makes his way back onto the map with a fresh batch of wards. And amazingly, the situation deflates. I had no idea that one Ocean Dragon could be so valuable and in an extended engage like that.
Yeah, it was pretty valuable. Condi just found himself back to
he was at like 150 health, 200 health, and then he got up to maybe 506.
Yeah, it helps that his passive is, giving
him
him
course,
that.
Yeah.
But you got those two working with you, and suddenly you just have a lot of HP.
Absolutely ridiculous. But now the teams are fighting over vision once again. Swift clearing out a control ward in the pit with some vision of his own.
They replaced the 3 control wards. Disastrous.
Is that what it is? They're looking for a pick. He's got no summoner spells. He's only got Tides of Blood and Zanya's, but the rest of the team backs away. And now he spots that ward in that brush.
Here's the thing. Shen is on the bottom side of the map, so it was smart from newbie to not continue to look for that, because they would eventually get the kill, but they would lose a lot in terms of their own base. That bottom side, immediately W is moving over.
They've got Sky.
Oh,
I've got water in my mouth mid-drink, and a fight breaks out. Mystic, he's doing so much damage there.
I'm surprised
Flash
too.
used, yeah. Even heal being used. That is a little bit of harass for a lot of pickups from WE.
Coco doesn't have much mana. In fact, caught out.
Yeah, again, like you said, caught out. Mystic just leaps forward. The red buff, the 3 items plus Last Whisper. And now Ben has Righteous Glory to get that Tristana in even faster.
Shen's not going to move from that bottom side of the map, and no one is responding to him here as well. He's going to be able to chip down the turret. Eventually, Cho'Gath will come. But Cho'Gath does not have his TP as well. This gives WE the opportunity to look towards Baron, just because they have Shen ulti to back him up.
957 pulls Sky to the far side. Of course, Rupture and Feral Scream are still up to interrupt that Shen. That's why we see Sky chasing him into the jungle. But that's a Shadow Dash, and 957, like we said, he's doing damage at this point into the game. LWX steps in to clear out the wards with his Runons, and Mystic doesn't get his explosive charge onto the turret. With that, though, the inhibitor respawns mid.
Good constant defense from Newbie. Even though they're at a 4K deficit, they're able to just hold on to the bases, of course, that they've had, stall it out for their inhibitor to come back up, and just stall it out so they don't lose a Baron off it. That was a very turbulent situation which we're in.
Oh, yeah. Seatbelts are on, the light in the cabin is up as the fight breaks out. Crisp is separated and killed. He still lands a Dark Binding, but the rest of the team catches in. Xie is eating so much CC. Instant Zanya's 957 to the rescue. He's low. It just takes one missile, but the heal from Mystic saves his mid laner. And that's the support and the turret from Newbie dead.
Yeah, and LWX was slowed there, so he couldn't look to follow up with another Bio-Arcane barrage. So not much happening, just the one kill onto Crisp. I want to see what else they're going to be looking for. Newbie, they want to stop a possible Baron, and that's just the name of the game. Ooh, Ben.
Just around the vision, he's found Coco, and Coco is toast. He is absolutely dead. Mystic with another kill. WE are relentless.
Just look at how many control wards they have here. And they're just constantly propping
oh,
the red trinket.
No!
Ah, no.
Swift! Okay, he's going to be able to slam away. Still even had his flash, but like you said, they are controlling the vision. They are just constantly pressuring in and further forward. Finally, they're going to turn on to the Baron.
Here we go. We don't know how low it is. There we have it. It's enough time for Sky to just pop in there and use his ulti.
Yeah, Swift just used his body slam. He's got to wait for the cooldown before he can try to get into the pit. Ben on the far side is chased away by LWX and killed. Swift is in. He flashed. He steals the Baron. He keeps his team into the game, but Mystic locks down a kill onto Sky, and I believe Coco respawned in time to get that Baron buff. What a steal from Swift.
That's why it's so hard to play a Baron game up against a jungler with same amount of experience, of course, because he has Smite and a Cho'Gath with ulti. That was just way too hard for WE. They needed to press the issue and look for more fights in that situation. Cho'Gath was right beside them, but they decided to burn down Baron. It's going to cost them a lot of time.
Still, the macro play from WE has been opening up the game so much. Here's Swift going in again. He flashes the wall.
Yeah, immediately getting inside at a good time, too. They had an ability to recognize he is so tanky. He has the Morgana shield on top of him. And so immediately with Sky just working on the Baron, it had enough HP for them to just...
Smite Feast.
Yeah. He still had Feast at the time, so it was just the threat of having it.
And Baron now picked up by Newbie. 30 minutes into the game. They're 5,000, 4,000 gold down. And they find themselves constantly pushed in by WE, constantly getting picked off by the Vision. Still, they're able to steal the Baron and get themselves onto the map and reset at least a little bit of this pressure. They now pick up Cloud Dragon, their first Drake of the game for themselves. And will get the opportunity to push in mid, as it looks like WE might be a bit unprepared for this, as Xie is picking up blue and Mystic was pushing bottom.
Yeah, they're going to have to figure out how to cut the tempo that Newbie is starting to place here, right? Because this inner mid lane turret's going to be a primary focus for them. Eventually, it's going to be bottom lane as well. They're going to base, but right now, if you're WE, start to focus on which tower you're going to be looking to defend. With Shen having that position in the top side of the map, he could either join the fight with his own ulti if Xie looks for another flank, or he can be the flank himself with the positioning that he has on the top side of the map.
I mean, we saw what happened when Xie gets one flank, the massive fight in the mid lane to break it open for WE. And we've seen the submarine combination many times.
This time around, he doesn't have flash. He'll have it in about a minute. It's going to be a costly minute.
I mean, at the very least, WE are still actively maintaining their presence on the map, pushing top, like you said. They push back mid after Newbie retreat, and now they're even going so far as to push a minion wave bottom. I was about to say siege, but it's a risky siege. Unless you have a level 15 Tristana. Calm down there, Mystic.
Getting the autos off. But this is just good time wasting from WE, because eventually unless they just take this turret, there we go.
Who needs minions when you've got that Tristana?
Yeah, eventually Newbie will look to push back. Okay.
Look at that kill line. I can't believe I've only just now noticed all of WE's kills. All 9, 100% are on to Mystic. He leaps out of the bola as Kandi flashes. Swift tries to force the fight, but again, the reactions of Mystic are on point.
Yeah, but now that Kandi has half HP, can regen just a little bit, but it's going to be much harder for him to be that front line for Mystic. He's going to be focusing solely on Swift to see if he gets caught out. Thankfully, Swift doesn't have his own ulti. For him, it's almost as simple as just jumping in and allowing more space for LWX to work.
The threat of those dark bindings are so terrifying, and the black shield is actually becoming large enough that LWX can step forward a little bit more safely as Mystic clears out some of this vision, uses his trinket, and Kandi will steal away some camps here. Still, it is the multi-lane pressure. Like you said, they are stalling out the Baron, and it has finally worn off of Newbie. And now it's back to a good old-fashioned siege, just rolling their momentum forwards. And I hesitate to say this, but is there any downside to putting all of your kill gold onto a single person?
Well, usually people say yes just because
that person dies and suddenly it's like, oh no, now we're on a gold deficit.
Yeah, what do we do? But it's going to be how hard is it going to be to protect Mystic? Right now it's fairly easy just because we haven't seen Sky find a flank position. He's been preoccupied with 957. Doesn't even have himself the Warmogs just yet, so there's no threat of him. Of course, getting a Gargoyle, Stoneplate, Warmogs, just flash nomming on Mystic. So that isn't there yet. That's a unfortunate situation there.
Ooh, the bowl is ready, but still Kandi standing in front of Mystic. And like you said, flashes are now back up for most members of Newbie. If they can catch Mystic and get through his Quicksilver Sash, they just might be able to kill him and balance this gold out a whole lot more. But Xie is becoming big in the mid lane as he's pushing into this open inhib.
That's why they don't want to use too many resources in getting to Mystic, because even if they do, you still have to worry about the Vladimir.
They're trying to kill Kandi here, and he just body slams back to safety. Still stands in. That's the Stand United. Eats a lot more. The culling. Ooh, the artillery's not enough. LWX does not find it. As Stand United was used. No, it wasn't. Where did he get that shield from? Was that Ben?
Could have been. You just need to see the ad to see if the locket is available.
Oh, he might have had the locket. You're right.
But that was a position where kudos to Newbie that they were able to push him back in that situation.
Huh. There is no shield. How did he get the health back? Ah, well. Story for another time. But still, we're seeing Newbie try to break this game open and look for a pick. They were hunting for the Tristana for such a long time. Perhaps a little bit of impatience, maybe?
From WE?
From Newbie. They were looking for the Tristana. They couldn't find it. We've been landing bindings on Kandi. Might as well invest and see if we can get something more.
I think that was good just because they needed to force them off that situation.
Okay.
You're in a position right now where you just get constantly getting pushed out, getting pushed in. Two of your last inhib turrets, of course. They just need some time, especially with the monster objectives of Baron and Elder Dragon coming up. They've lost too much space on the map with how long WE have been right at their base, that they need to start placing down wards. So that one base, sure, they wanted much more than that. But getting them to base now allows them to place down some defensive vision.
It's so hard to try to get themselves back out onto the map, even though they were able to push Kandi back and force the recall. Look at the minimap. That is so many wards from WE all over the map. Control wards scattered everywhere. They've got complete control of the Baron Pit. It's up in 30 seconds. Swift has been spotted and immediately has to turn around and retreat, even though he has his team behind him.
Yeah.
Mystic, 6 items, level 16.
Yeah, they've already reset their vision line, already placing control wards top side. Newbies placed their defense forward bottom side, so they've misread the situation.
Ooh, cask onto the black shield. Ah, Courage of the Colossus.
Okay.
That's where he got it. Okay. Suddenly it makes a whole lot more sense. Mystic, hey now. You're a rock star and you do not want to get your game on against 4 members of Newbie without the protection of your team. They're trying to sneak behind the Baron, and 957 is even pushing back, but Newbie are just pushing in mid lane with their double AD carries.
Not a single ward right here from Newbie. That was a proper blue trinket.
So we've got big objectives being traded. The Elder Dragon team is on Baron, and Newbie are on the Elder Dragon. 957 is right there. It's even an early smite from Kandi to make sure. Swift is there with a smite of his own, binding onto the Scuttle Crab as the ward is cleared out, but that's Elder Dragon picked up by Newbie. That's a stun onto Xie. He's going to be doing a lot of damage. Ruptured, Stand United to keep him up. Feral Scream even stalls it out, but Mystic has joined the fight. LWX still firing a huge knock-up as Xie dives into the back, heals himself up with the Zanyas. The Hemoplague gets one. Mystic over the wall, drops LWX. Elder Dragon or not, we're seeing the resets again from Mystic. And that's 3 members of Newbie dead.
I could not believe it. what the heck, Mystic? What?
Level 17 with the Baron buff, with his team in front of him. WE 4 versus 2. It's up to Coco and Crisp to keep them in this match.
And that was all Ben, because he was able to get the 4-man knockup, turned into Vladimir getting constant damage on them, and then the flank from Mystic to get straight towards LWX, getting the reset. And it could honestly cost Newbie the game here.
It very well could, as this is a big wave with the Baron buff. Coco is looking for damage on Condi, but Mystic fancies himself a duel. He chases in with the cast. Not enough to kill, but certainly enough to wound. And it might just be enough to end the game as he turns onto the Nexus turrets. Swift has respawned, and he is racing in with LWX, trying to buy enough time, but Mystic is relentless. Culling to the face is not going to stop him. It breaks down.